Hey guys, welcome back to another exciting video. Today, we're making some Christmas side dishes to go along with our nut roast Wellington that we made last video. And these are so good. We're starting off with my mum's recipe, golden roast potatoes. And they are the crispiest potatoes you'll ever have. They're so delicious. Then next, we've got some miso and maple glazed carrots. This is a real delicious dish as well. And we're gonna make a sourdough and cranberry stuffing, as well as another gravy. We love gravies. This one's a mushroom gravy. Just another one to add to your gravy repertoire. So let's begin. As always, the full written recipe is on my website and there's a link to that down below. We're gonna start off by peeling our potatoes, and it's worth peeling these for this one because you just get a much crispier result at the end. And I'm using just over a kilogram of potatoes, but you can add more or less potatoes depending on how many potatoes you want to feed people. It's normally a better idea to do more because everyone will love these. Once our potatoes are peeled, we're just going to cut them up. And this is probably about a good size for them. We want them nice and chunky. That's about 5 centimeters by 5 centimeters. And it's nice to cut them on an angle to give a little bit of different surface area. I put the potatoes in a pot of water, just enough water to cover the potatoes, and then we'll boil them for around 6 minutes. In the meantime, we'll grab our carrots. I've given them a quick rinse. They've still got the skin on. Cut the tops off. We'll cut it in half, and we're just gonna quarter them. And I'm gonna use around 7 medium-sized carrots for this. And I do love to leave the skin on when I can, because most of the nutrition is actually found in the skin. We'll add our carrots to a baking tray. And we'll mix together our miso and maple glaze. That involves half a tablespoon of miso, maybe around a tablespoon, 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, the juice of half a lemon, and a tablespoon of olive oil. We'll give that a nice mix up. Oh my god, that tastes incredible. And once it's nicely mixed up, we'll drizzle it on and give it a good mix around with our hands. When they bake, the miso and the maple caramelizes so nicely, and the natural sugars from the carrots, oh, it's a match made in heaven. And why not, because we're feeling festive, add a couple of teaspoons of cinnamon on there. Add that festive cheer. Oh, this is gonna be great. Thanks, Jess, for that idea. And we'll put them to one side. When your potatoes are boiling, set a timer for 6 minutes. While the potatoes are boiling, add some oil to an oven tray and put it in the oven to heat up. The potatoes are finished boiling. Tip them out into a colander and let them air dry for about 30 seconds. Once they've air dried for a little bit, we'll add them back to the pot with 2 tablespoons of flour. I like to use brown rice flour because it's got a nice bite to it. And then shake that up. Look at that, they're nice and coated. We'll take that pan out of the oven and be careful because the oil's hot. So we'll slowly add the potatoes in and give it a little mix up. And this is optional, but I like to do it just to add a tiny little bit more oil on top. And our oven is preheated to 160 degrees, and these will go in the oven until they're nice and golden, which normally takes about 40 minutes. And at the same time, we can add our carrots. Now it's stuffing time. I got a nice end of a sourdough loaf. I'm gonna cut about 3 slices, 3 of these. So we're gonna cube up our sourdough into nice small cubes. And I like to use sourdough because sourdough is a great way to make bread. It's super digestible, and it's normally only got 2 or 3 ingredients in it. 3 ingredients in it. Salt, water, and flour. So I've cut my bread into about ½ centimeter chunks. I'm gonna put it in a baking tray, a small baking tray. Go on, we'll use one more slice of bread. 4 slices of bread, nicely cubed. 1 red onion, finely diced. Next, as it is a sourdough and cranberry stuffing, I have ½ a cup of cranberries, 1/4 cup of cranberries, some dried herbs. I got some rosemary, some oregano, and some thyme. And I'm also going to add a bit of fresh thyme in there because I've got some. It's always nice to add fresh herbs if you can. I won't bother cutting that up, but that's about a teaspoon of fresh thyme, a teaspoon of salt, and ½ a teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper, the juice of a small squeeze of lemon, and some oat milk, or any plant-based milk. And then give that a nice mix up. And then that goes in the oven, along with our carrots and potatoes. Now it's time for our delicious mushroom and brown onion gravy. So we're gonna finely dice our brown onion and then cut up our mushrooms. And it doesn't really matter which way you cut these because a varied texture in the gravy is really nice. Just make sure they're nice and small and there's no large chunks. Then in a bowl, add 500 ml of boiling water with some veggie bouillon powder, or you can use veggie stock, onion powder, garlic powder, nutritional yeast, some tamari, and some cornstarch. And this, when it heats up, is going to thicken our gravy up really nicely. Place a pot on a medium heat and add some olive oil. We'll then add our onions and cook it down until it's nicely caramelized before adding our mushrooms. We'll cook the mushrooms down for a little bit longer until they're softened, and then we can add our flavor. We'll let this cook for a little bit longer until it starts to bubble and thicken up really nicely, and then take it off the heat and add the lemon juice. It's also super important to mix the veggies halfway so they cook nice and evenly. It's time the stuffing comes out. It's been about 25 minutes. Everything's smelling so good. The carrots need a little bit longer. The potatoes need just a bit longer. I'm very excited. Oh yes, those carrots look incredible. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Man, I didn't know carrots could taste this good. The kitchen is smelling incredible and everything's finished cooking, so it's time to plate it up. Oh, they're so golden. Look at those potatoes. Look at those carrots. Look at that stuffing. And some delicious gravy. Oh, look at that. Mushroom and brown onion gravy. These potatoes are so golden and crispy. Look at that. Look at that. The potatoes took about 45 minutes to cook. The carrots took about 30 minutes. And the stuffing took about 25 minutes. Some crispy bits up in there. Can't forget the crispy bits. And then the carrots. These smell and taste so good. This is one of the first times I've made these, and they are incredible. And I'm just gonna top these with some toasted walnuts. Also the most important step for the potatoes, a generous pinch of salt, maybe a couple of pinches of salt. And then finally our stuffing, which smells so good. The cranberries, the sweetness of the cranberries, the savoriness of the sourdough, and the mixed herbs are smelling so good. It smells so good. Too much for the plate. I'm just gonna top this with a few sprigs of fresh thyme. Oh, there we have it. Look at all those colors, it's smelling so good in here. These are the ultimate Christmas side dishes to accompany my Nutloaf Wellington, or your Nutloaf Wellington if you make it. I'm so excited for you to try this. Please let me know how it goes. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you again for another one very soon. And I hope you have a Merry Christmas.